how judiciary has evolved with regards to its opinion on preamble.
Yes, sir. So the preamble's interpretation and preamble's status has been something which has been a part of the debates, and it started very early when we got independent, right from the times of A.K. Gopalan case of 1950. And I would say broadly, judiciary has dealt with three important aspects related to preamble. The first aspect has been with respect to whether preamble is a part of the constitution or not. And there has been a number of cases over which the jurisprudence around this has evolved. And the second has been with respect to the amendability of the preamble. And this question became important because for the very first time when we amended the preamble, the idea was that something which is not a part of the constitution, how can this be amended? So that was a unique question which came up. And the third has been to what extent I can use the text of the preamble with respect to the interpretation of various laws. Can I check the constitutionality of a particular law by using the text of the preamble, even if the text is non-justiciable? That has been something which the judiciary has talked about. So I would say these three aspects or these three broad areas where the judiciary has dealt preparing for the
Can I have in one line about all these 3 points? What is judiciary view about first, second, and third, so that can be kept in mind for PT options with the giving?
Yes, sure, sir. So when we talk about the preamble being whether it is a part of the constitution or not, the Supreme Court in its landmark verdict in the Keshwanand Bharati case has finally reaffirmed that preamble should be considered a part of the constitution, although it remains to be non-justiciable, but we have other parts which are non-justiciables. But despite that, we consider preamble to be a part of the constitution itself. So the first or the answer to the first question, whether preamble is a part of the constitution or not, judiciary says in affirmative, yes, it is a part of the constitution. If we talk about the amendability of the preamble, again, judiciary has taken a very innovative approach, and judiciary has evolved a jurisprudence whereby, as per the Supreme Court, again in the Keshwanand Bharati case, Supreme Court says that preamble can be amended whenever there will be an incoherence between the text of the preamble and the text of the constitution, because my preamble being a part of the ideology or philosophy has to be always aligned with what is written in the constitution. So I can definitely amend the preamble also. However, important caveat here is that preamble can be amended, but the basic structure of the constitution, which is reflected in the ideals of the preamble, that should not be tinkered with, because that's the only limitation on the parliament with respect to the amendment of the constitution. And while talking about the third dimension, that whether the text of the interpretation of the laws, here also, again in the landmark judgment given in the Keshwanand Bharati case, the Supreme Court is of the view that preamble being a part of the philosophy, it is very difficult for us to use the text of the preamble for the interpretation if we use it in a standalone manner. So here the Supreme Court says that we will be using the text of the preamble, but not independently of the other parts of the constitution. So I can use other parts of the constitution along with the text of the preamble, and then I can even use it to interpret various laws.
We have had questions around that. Yes, that's
yes, sir. And I see that lately what the UPSC has been doing is they have been going into some unconventional aspects with respect to preamble. And I would say that interpretation of the laws using the text of the preamble, that was something which has not been asked by UPSC till now. And very recently, they have now ventured into this particular aspect of preamble also. So I think from the for the students, it is very important to know that yes, now these areas also should be kept in mind while preparing, in addition to the ones which UPSC has generally gone into.